Hi, this is Christina Yonkman, and I would like to share with you my program completion commitment timeline. In high school, my senior year, there was a lot of pressure from everybody, as far as where everybody was going to college, what they were going to do, what they were going to be when they grew up. And it was the spring of 1989, my senior year, and I still did not know exactly what I wanted to do. And so one day I was sitting in government class and it just kind of came to me like a light bulb went off in my head. I decided I wanted to become a home ec teacher, and home ec is now called Family and Consumer Science, so a FACS teacher. Um, but I would like to give credit to several different things for helping me finally decide that. I was involved in 4-H as a young child. I joined when I was 7, and I was in it until I could graduate. And then I also took a lot of family consumer science home ec classes in high school. I enjoyed the sewing, the cooking, the childcare, the interior design, even some budgeting and things like that. My senior year, my home ec teacher at the time, Mrs. McLeish, and she is shown here on the slide, she actually nominated me for a state home ec student of the year award, which I received. And then I was also very active in our FCCLA group. It was also called FHA at one time. And during all of those activities and with the mentorship of Mrs. McClish, I decided that becoming a home ec teacher is what I wanted to do. So I decided to go to college. I started out my career at Barton County Community College, where I got my associate's degree, and that was from 89 to 91. And then for the next 2 years, I went to Fort Hays State University, where I received my bachelor's degree, and I did get that in home ec education. In fact, I was one of the very last classes to graduate before the college shut down my program. So I was excited I got to finish there, but also sad that they got rid of that program. And from there, then I went to work, and I'll show you that here in just a minute, what all I did as far as teaching. But then I went back to college in 2006 to work on my master's degree in school counseling. And now I'm looking at doing my building leadership endorsement. So I began my teaching at South Haven Schools, and I taught there for 3 years. I was a brand new teacher, moved away from my family, and went clear to the other side of the state, almost to the Oklahoma border. Taught there. I was the 7 through 12 home ec teacher, and I also was a cheerleader sponsor and class sponsor at that time. And I'll show you some more about my sponsorships here in just a little bit. After those 3 years, I actually ended up getting married and had my first child while I was there in South Haven. And I decided it was time to move back closer to family. So I found a position at K-State Research and Extension. It wasn't in the public education, but I was still educating the community. And I was there for, I believe it was roughly 2 years. It was actually 2 years, because then I took a position as, it was actually a management position with a private company. They were a pattern craft company, and I worked in the private sector for a year, and then I worked in an insurance office, became a certified insurance agent for 2 years. So I did take a little break there from teaching. But in 2001, I decided it was time to get back. I needed to support my children. I went through a divorce and things changed for me. So I moved my 2 young children to Ulysses, Kansas, where I was the high school home ec teacher at the time. And I enjoyed my time there. I really enjoyed working there, and still felt like I needed to get closer to family. Family is very important to me. And so I continued to look for positions, and I ended up getting a position in Deerfield, which was only about 15 miles from my sister and her family. And so I worked there from 2004 to 2009. And while I was at Deerfield, that's where I actually got the opportunity to start my counseling degree. I was their home ec teacher for the first couple of years, and then they moved me into a counseling position when I could actually work on my degree. So I graduated then with my master's in school counseling. And then I had the opportunity to move into Garden City, which is where my sister and her family were. And I took a position with the Garden City Public Schools as a teacher and the Adult Learning Center program coordinator. And so I started here in Garden City in 2019, and that is where I presently am. Like I said, I worked at the Alternative Center and the Adult Learning Program for a year, and then I moved into a counseling position. and I am continuing in counseling. I have worked at the Garden City High School, and I also, this will be my 4th year, I work at the Garden City Achieve, which is an alternative center, as a counselor. During my teaching career, I have done lots of extra duties and activities, and this is just a very few of them. But I was a cheerleading sponsor, like I mentioned earlier. I was a class sponsor, a senior class sponsor. I was a sponsor for FCCLA, which I had also been a member of as a high school student. I was and I currently am a Stuco sponsor, and I've also been a sponsor for the National Honor Society. My career has taken me lots of extra, of course, committees and duties, but 4 of them that really have pushed me towards this building leadership position, I want to think, is I have been a lead teacher, I've been a lead counselor, I serve on our current building leadership team, and I also served on that at Garden City High School, and I also have been in charge of our ESL curriculum program as the leader. Here is a copy of, or a overview of my academic plan. I plan to start this fall in August, take my school law class, and I plan to take a class every 8 weeks. In the second 8 weeks of fall, I plan on taking my supervision and evaluation of school personnel. Then the intersession, I'm going to try the school community relations class. And then in the spring, the first weeks, I'll do my intro to building administration. And then the second 8 weeks, I'll do the special ed education for building administrators. And then that first summer block, I'm going to take a little break there because that's really busy for me as a school counselor trying to finish up the year. And I'll do the second week there of the summer where I'm going to do the building finance class. And then I will finish up my practicum in education in the fall of 23. So hopefully then by January, I will be finished with my building leadership. And again, this is just kind of my plan. Hope things will go well and that I can do a class each session like I see here. I do plan on starting my portfolio right away in August. With my position, I'm the school counselor, and so I do a lot of work with the building principal, and I also do a lot of building principal duties. I also am the lead teacher in the building, so I am going to start my portfolio in August, and I will finish that in December when I finish my practicum. And so as I get into this building leadership, I would love to move into a position. I really see with our district me moving into an assistant principal, or what we call the TOSA, the teacher of special assignment, on special assignment. And I look at doing that around probably 2024. That would be in August after I finish my practicum. And from there, there is a position that will be coming open as the director of our Garden City Virtual Academy. And that's where I would really like to look at finishing my career in Garden City. That is kind of where I started with the district, which is what's kind of neat about the whole thing. I started as the director of the Adult Learning Center, and that is what this Garden City Virtual Academy has now evolved to be. It's grown a lot, and it's a 7 through 12 program. It's not just for adults. And so in order to be in that position, you do have to have a building leadership endorsement or degree. So that's where I look at moving, hopefully around 2025. And then I will continue out my career in education, hopefully somewhere between 2030 and 2033, depending on, finances. Right now I'm a single parent, and so my children will all have left home by then, and, who knows what would happen between now and then. But my plan is to retire close to 2033. And this is my overall plan and timeline, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.